Everyone, thank you very much for joining us here at a wonderful, beautiful, reopened park here on Savannah's south side, one of two large parks with large lakes. Of course, this is Joseph J. Tribble Park, opened in 2007, named after two-time Georgia Senator Joe Tribble. We have a lot of special guests and a lot to get to today before we cut the ribbon on the reopening of this park. A park that went through a lot of renovations over the years, and in fact, in this spot, 4.5 years ago, I believe it was, we had a ribbon cutting for the addition of this beautiful fountain behind us, along with some paving of a parking lot, a new flag that went up, and other amenities to add to this wonderful park. Our Mayor Van Johnson is with us, and you will hear from him in just a moment, along with the alderman for this district, District 6, Curtis Purty. And thank you, Nick Palumbo, for coming from the 4th District and joining us as well. Our city, we get cheers for that. Oh, you didn't get the cheers. We'd also like to thank many others you'll hear from, our city manager, Jay Melder, and our assistant city manager, along with chief infrastructure and development manager, Heath Lloyd, the one who shields all the calls that comes our way on infrastructure and development. Taffney Young is our chief community services officer, Brett Bell, our chief operating officer, Gene Pravat, chief of government operations, Lenny Gunther, our police chief, and I see walking in Elsie Kitchen, our fire chief, is with us as well. And there are many others to thank, which will come from our local elected officials, along with our city manager, Jay Miller. So let's start things off with the alderman for this district, Curtis Purty.
Thank you, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining us out here in the heart of District 6. I want to thank city staff and members of Team Savannah who are here this morning, who have worked tirelessly to restore the lake here at the park and improve what this beautiful amenity has to offer. Today is a momentous occasion, and we gather here to celebrate the grand reopening of Joseph Tribble Park. This park holds a special place in our hearts and represents the legacy of a remarkable man. You see his name on the sign, but you might not know who he is. He dedicated his life to serving his country, his community, and his family. Joseph Tribble was not just an ordinary individual. He was a true American hero, an outstanding engineer, a devoted public servant, and a man of deep faith. Joseph Tribble's contributions to our nation began during his time as an engineer aboard Liberty ships of the United States Maritime Service. His service exemplified the dedication and selflessness of that American spirit. After his military service, Joseph Tribble continued to make significant impact in our community. He worked at Union Camp, where he honed his skills as an energy coordinator for the Unbleached Division. Beyond his professional achievements, Joseph Tribble also ventured into the political arena. In a remarkable feat, he became the first Republican state senator elected from Chatham County in the 20th century. His commitment to public service was extended to the national level, where he was appointed as the Assistant Secretary of Energy by President Ronald Reagan in 1981. This appointment showcased his exceptional leadership and his unwavering dedication to the betterment of our nation. However, it is not solely Joseph Tribble's professional accomplishments that define him. Above all, he was a family man, a loving husband, father, and grandfather. He treasured the bonds he formed with his loved ones and instilled in them the values of compassion, humanity, and faith. His love for his country and community was evident in everything he did, and he left an indelible mark on those he encountered. Today, as we gather here at Joseph Tribble Park, we honor the memory of this extraordinary individual. This park stands as a testament to his enduring legacy, a place where families can come together, children can play and explore, and memories can be created. It's a symbol of the values he held near and dear, and a reminder of the compassion and humanity he displayed throughout his entire life. What started as an oxidation pond, now transformed into a beautiful lake, abundant in wildlife. You will notice around you an improved trail around the lake with benches. There's a pavilion and playground located here. With a recent partnership with the Southeast Georgia chapter of the Southern Off-Road Bicycle, or SEGASORBA, because that's hard to say in a mouthful, SEGASORBA, We now have hiking and mountain biking trails in our wooded area of the park located directly over there. All of this was made possible by leadership, partnership, and my favorite word that Alderman Palumbo likes to use, the stick-to-itiveness of Team Savannah. As we enjoy this revitalized park, let us remember Joseph Tribble's unwavering commitment to our community and his tireless efforts to make our world a better place. May we be inspired by his example to serve our country, support our neighbors, and strive for excellence in all that we do. Thank you, Joseph Tribble, for your service, your dedication, and your love for this great nation. May your memory forever live on in the hearts of those who knew and admired you, and may this park serve as a lasting tribute to your remarkable life. If you ever get a chance and you look at Joseph Tribble Park on the map, look at a Google image. If you look closely from an aerial shot, you'll see that the island behind me is in the shape of a heart. That represents the love for our community, and that's what keeps us together. I want to take this opportunity to deeply, deeply appreciate and thank those who are involved in helping revitalize this wonderful park, Joseph Tribble Park. This is a wonderful resource for our community. It's a sacred place for us, and it is definitely the heart of District 6. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Alderman. While serving in District 1, he certainly knew the area out here in District 6, the longtime alderman from District 1, but now our mayor of Savannah. While this area has had some issues, but obviously a wonderful, well-used park here, and that's what we have here today. Our mayor, Van Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you, and good morning. It's another great day in the greatest city on earth. We know her as Savannah. And certainly a pleasure to be here as we continue our commitment and push for equity throughout our city. I'm very familiar with this park as I was around in 2007 when it was dedicated, and certainly have enjoyed many great days and great opportunities out here with our District 6 neighbors. And we recognize that equity should be for all. And we extend that to all. And that we have enough beautiful parks and beautiful green spaces to be able to go around. And this represents a significant and continued investment in our community. And so once we recognized that something was going wrong, we recognized that water levels were decreasing in this lake, and we recognized that something was very, 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 very wrong. We knew that we had to do something. It had to be quick, it had to be efficient, effective, and it had to be infallible. And so I appreciate the leadership of Team Savannah to first acknowledge that something was wrong, then to be able to get the capital projects team and the contractor to work and to figure out what was going wrong, and then to devise a plan to make sure we made it right. The reality is that when you have man-made things go wrong. But I am so glad that more importantly, that man-made things were also made right by man. And I'm so grateful for the leadership of Alderman Curtis Pertee out here in the 6th District, who certainly alerted us to what was going on. And then we had to figure out a way to figure out what was wrong, more importantly, how to pay for it. So it was $2.5 million that we did not have, but we had to make happen because we knew that this lake had to happen because you were not going to let us get away with it, nothing not happening. And so we appreciate not only your patience and your understanding and your perseverance with this, your assistance that we do it and we do it right, that we had green space for our seniors to enjoy, green space for our young people to come and play, families to be able to have picnics and family gatherings, and certainly a place that we could all be proud of in the 6th District. And so because of the work that's been done here, our residents will continue to enjoy this park for many, many years and more to come. And if anything goes wrong with this park again, I don't think I will be alive to see it happen, because I know that we got it done right. So I want to thank everyone who has been a part of this, certainly everyone who has offered their patience and their grace to us, and again to Team Savannah, this council for quickly allocating the funds to make it happen, City Manager Jay Melder and Assistant City Manager Heath Lloyd and their teams for corralling the necessary resources to get it done quick. Working together works, and it all works when we work together. So again, great day, many more great days coming here. There are fish, more fish to come. There are ducks, more ducks to come. They saw a deer out here last night. Tribble Park is back.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'd also like to welcome our at-large Post 2 Alderwoman Alicia Miller-Blakely. Raise your hand. She has joined us as well for this event. I don't have an exact timeline, but I believe our city manager started right around when he had to come out to Tribble Park, and it was one of his first challenges as the city manager. I think that's about the time that we had to fix this challenge and fix the breaks. So we will have our city manager, Jay Melder, and he will introduce our assistant city manager, Heath Lloyd.
Thank you. Thank you, Ken. Let's give it up for Ken Slats. Ken Slats, one of the greatest public servants around. Savannah knows better than most any other place that the heart of civic and community life are parks. And today we have a tremendous opportunity to be at one of Savannah's most beautiful parks and one of City of Savannah's most well-used parks and most beloved parks. And it's great to be here today to honor again a public servant and Secretary Tribble who served this community and served this nation, and to be able to cut the ribbon again on something that signifies his service, but also his legacy of service, which in my 2 years in the city of Savannah, the South Side embodies that civic responsibility just as good as anywhere else in the city. And I was always inspired to come out here and to meet with residents and to hear their love and their passion of this lake and Tribble Park. And I knew as soon as I heard the news that the lake was losing water, that it was draining, that I was going to get a lot of calls from a lot of folks who love this park and who spend their weekends and their afternoons and their mornings in this park, who get their daily walks around this lake, who take their kids to the playground, who picnic in the green spaces, and who now can enjoy some off-roading and some single tracking in our mountain bike paths and our hiking trails next door. So this is one of our premier recreation and leisure spaces. And sometimes, government is here. Well, not sometimes. Government is here to solve problems. And we were really happy to answer the call of our Alderman Curtis Pertee, who is a tremendous champion for this park and for all things South Side, to be able to find resources, to scurry hard, and to get contractors out here and engineers out here to be able to fix this beloved park. One of the other things I really love about Joseph Tribble Park is this land. These acres have been serving this community for decades and decades. First is part of a water reclamation and water services, a different kind of service, but completely important and integral to healthy infrastructure. And now it gets a new life. It got a new life in 2007, gets an extended life now as a beautiful park. And I just think as a municipal employee and as a believer in the things that we can do together for the common good, that what an amazing story that these couple of acres have for the South Side and for the city of Savannah, that we've been able to put it to such good use and to now such beautiful use again for all of city of Savannah, and specifically for the South Side. And you'll hear from Heath Lloyd, and he's the inspiration guy, and he'll be able to move you with his words and his perspective. And my job is always to come here and thank the hard work of Heath and his teams and everybody who was involved to make these things happen. So I want to do that now, and I first want to start with the leadership of mayor and council, and specifically Alderman Curtis Pertee, who made sure that this was a priority for us. to get done, and for council who understood that priority and gave the directive to me and the city staff to find the resources and to find the urgency to get this park back into operation, this lake back into operation. So as the mayor said, this was a $2.5 million restoration of the lake, and I'm assured that we're not going to have the same problems that we did last year now that we did it right. I want to thank our partners. I want to thank our project leads for the city, first and foremost, our park and tree department, Gordon Denny, who's our director, who's here now. Let's give a shout out to Gordon Denny and his team, who care for this park amazingly. I want to thank Jason Mall, the landscape manager here, and you can tell the beauty here. Jason, raise your hand. There he is. He makes sure that all our spaces are beautiful. I want to thank our capital projects team, our director, Christy Lawrence. I want to thank Doug Patton, our capital projects manager, and Jim Wood, our construction inspector. I want to thank our water resources team. As I said, this acreage in this lake was part of our water resources inventory. I want to thank Andrew Collins, our water and sewer manager, and we still have some water and sewer resources here on site. I want to thank our engineers, Tara Khan and Dr. Lynn, for their incredible work, understanding the issue and getting it engineered to where we need it to be. I want to thank our contractors, Johnson Lux and project lead Rob, who made sure that we've got and I've been assured we did it right. The water's going to hold and the fish are going to thrive. So we're really thankful for their hard work and for their quick work. And I want to thank our designer, the Coleman and Company, our project lead, Travis Burke. So for all of these partnerships and for all our contractors and, of course, Team Savannah and all the names that I was able to read out, there are dozens more who worked just as hard and just as diligently to get this done. And I just want to send an applause line out for all of our teams out there who did the big work. And now I get the opportunity to thank somebody who is always at the ready and always at my right hand, and somebody the city can always rely on to get things done and to put up with my mess and to put up with everyone else's mess. But Heath Lloyd was instrumental in making sure that we orchestrated this repair quickly, and want to give him his due, as we always should, and applaud Heath Lloyd for his leadership and invite him up to the podium to give what I know will be an inspiring set of remarks.
And a quote.
And a quote.
And a quote.
There's always a quote.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Good morning. So it is certainly a great day to be here. I do get the opportunity to do this quite often, and every day just seems like it gets better and better. So today at Tribble Park, I just want to remind you of a few things. And yeah, I'm going to have a quote, but if you look at what's in your brochure, it's very important. So we stand today on a 51-acre parcel. Everybody absorb that. South side, 51 acres that we have dedicated for recreation. There's an 11-acre lake. So that I impress upon you the magnitude of what we have in the jewel on the south side. Now, this jewel on the south side, it has had its challenges. And I want to take an opportunity to thank Mayor and Council just for their support as we begin to try to figure out how to fix this jewel on the south side. It was not easy. I stood before Council many days and talked about the complexity of this repair. For there was a time where we just came in and we recreated a wall and we went on for about 5 years and then it came back. But today, I feel confident in front of Mayor and Council, as well as everybody here, we won't be back to that same section today. And the reason is because of the patience that we received from the south side. Because, and this is the quote. This is the quote. All right. Well, and for me, it is a particular honor to be here today because what you heard from Alderman Pertee about Joseph Tribble and the engineer that he was, as an engineer, I know that I stand on the shoulders of those before me, and I am most delighted that I can say I had a small hand in making sure that the work of Joseph Tribble, who was an engineer under the Reagan administrator, I had a small hand in that. And that's important to me as a public servant. And so it only was fitting that I found a quote from Ronald Reagan. So Reagan said in one of his speeches, the true men of action in our time, those who transform the world, are not necessarily the politicians and statesmen, but the scientists and engineers. The reason that I read that is because today we stand here not because of anything short of the engineers that helped me solve this problem. The engineers and scientists that told me what the right fix was. Not one that I came up on my own, even though I am an engineer, but the geotechnical engineers that gave us the solution. Because ladies and gentlemen, this was a complex problem. As much as I want to stand here and tell you that we could have just fixed it like we did the last time, it wouldn't have been so. And so today, let us remind ourselves that we stand on the shoulders of giants like Joe Tribble. Let us remind ourselves today that the true men of action in our time, those who transform the world, they are the scientists that help make sure that the fixes that we put in, that's the mayor's word, he called it a fix, right? I wouldn't call it more complicated. The fixes that we put in, they last for a lifetime. And so I'm very proud to be here today to say to the South Side, thank you for letting me share your jewel. Thank you for letting me keep your jewel as long as I kept it. But most importantly, it is now to be returned to you. You can have it back in much better shape than I received it. So thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Heath, and thank you for joining us. Alderwoman Keisha Gibson Carter has joined us as well for today's event. Heath got into the technical part of it. Now we're going to get to the community services part, the community, the folks who really get to enjoy this park and spend hours out here. Michelle Mulvihill, did I get the name right, the last name? Michelle Mulvihill from an organization called Home Sweet Home, a perfect name for their organization here out in Windsor Forest.
They expect me to follow that. Sorry. I am here to represent our community, Windsor Forest. My family and I have been apart just a couple years, but we knew that Windsor Forest was a place that we wanted to call home, and it's a place that a lot of people here right now or that may come and visit our park have called home for many generations. Thanks to Joseph J. Tribble, we're allowed to do that, and thanks to our city leaders, it will continue for many generations to come. My part as a member of the community, we have a little group called Home Sweet Home, and we're all volunteers, all residents. We gather through social media events, we come out and come to the parks, we host different things at the corner of the Levita parking lot. And what we're going to do on Saturday is we'd like to invite the community. You don't have to be a resident of Windsor Forest, anybody can come. We're going to have a grand reopening celebration, and if you come around 10 o'clock, you'll get right here at the beginning, but you're also welcome to come up until 2 p.m. We will have food vendors, we will have live music, we're going to have fun activities and a play area for the children. Everybody in the family can come and meet the SPD mounted patrol horses. We're going to have a canine unit, the fuzzy therapy miniature horses are going to be here also. We're going to have a couple of animal rescue organizations to come by and have some adoptable pets out here. So hopefully we can find them a home as well. But I want to say thank you to everyone that volunteers their time. Our trails are beautiful. If you get a chance to take a walk through them, my family and I have been enjoying them as well. You don't have to have a bike to go through. You can walk on foot. And it is beautiful and the weather is great. Sometimes you need a little bug spray, but every time we come out, it's great to enjoy the nature, and we're glad to see that the wildlife is finally coming back to the lake, and that just makes my family happy and our community happy, and we want to be very thankful to everyone who had a part in that. Sir, yes.
I'm going to do as I do sometimes and execute a little mayoral privilege. The city manager is fond of saying that great public service begins with great public servants. And there were a lot of names that were called of city staff, but we're 2,600 strong of employees that have touched this project every single day in every single way. and their names are never called. But yet they're here, and I want to just take a moment to recognize them. If you're a part of Team Savannah, can you just wave and we all give them a big round of applause? All of our members and all of their roles. We're an ecosystem that feeds off of each other, and so we thank all of you for your role in playing in this. Of course, our master MC, Ken Slats.
Thank you, Mayor. One more thanks to the media for helping us showcase this beautiful gem we have here on the South Side. Thanks to our local TV stations for coming out as well. And that does conclude this event. We will now cut the ribbon on Joseph Tribble Park Lake.
They want to count down from 5, and then you're going to cut. Okay?
No pressure.
Don't cut Kurt's hands. All right.
I'll go back a little far.
Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.